with a keyboard and some tea lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched his law degree for plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string. Hey, evil genius, he's got a plugin for that.
Okay.
Clicks and tricks from his marketing hat.
I'm gonna let this run out while I dust my camera hair a little bit.
Spencer, baby, you can launch anything.
Bet you guys didn't know there's like 3 verses to that song. That's going to be published on Spotify soon for the 10 millionth sign. Good morning, it's Spence. It is January 23rd, Friday, 2026. Today I'm going to be doing a roundup on the request of many of my wonderful friends and clients and customers, but also just to kind of do a sanity check of where we are, where we're going, what this all means, all of the successes, some of the failures. I am appropriately dressed in what I'm going to call beach wear, short sleeves. I have a new friend who lives in Miami and Colombia, and I'm inspired by the idea that even though it's negative 12 here in Chicago today, that if I believe it and think it, I will be at the beach today. And I also want to let you guys know, an advance warning, I have not started drinking my coffee yet. I have gone back to my bulletproof diet, which is actually a keto kind of diet, working out. But like when I made my coffee, I delayed taking my coffee. So you're going to witness kind of like one of those werewolf movies. Spence going from super chill, let's go down and hang out Miami guy, to holy cow, watch the caffeine kick in. But I'm trying to keep it at a modest level. Also, I want you guys to just confirm for me that the audio and video is good. Good morning, Lloyd. Okay, good. Thank you, Lloyd, for that. Lloyd, just give me a gut check there that everything sounds right. And because I did make a mistake this week and I had a whole video that I published that had no audio in it because my new Stream Deck setup's a little dicey. Thank you, my friend. Okay. Let me also, just in fairness, I'm going to pop up the image file here. For today's topic, I just am calling it a roundup. Spence is a cowboy there. Good morning, John. I would like to have you guys participate today, because if, by the way, is Ann there? Hello, Ann. Ann, you texted me before. Are you there today? You played hide and go seek with me last time. Let's say hopefully Ann is there. Good morning, Daniel. Good conversation yesterday with you as well. What I'd like to do today is I'm going to introduce this from scratch, and I want to cover some of the things of where we were to where we are to where I think this is going, because I really think there's so much going on in the world and so much going on in the space of technology that this is my, it sounds overstated, but this is my way of participating in the progress of humanity. I know that sounds really grandiose, but if you really think about it, let's just do some conversational Spence logic. We currently are in a world where WordPress powers, I don't know, 47%, 47% of all sites on the internet. I have 20 years in WordPress and expertise, along with making all the stuff and so forth. I feel like WordPress itself is absolutely incredible as a software system, as a framework. And for today's politics, today's needs, today's wants, it also provides an amazing framework. But the problem of WordPress, as I've stated so many times in the past, is that the leadership, Matt Mullenweg, lost his way about what the product is, what it does, what it should be doing. And it's just been hijacked in some ways by that lack of leadership. In other words, it's Lord of the Flies. If any of you guys have read the book where the kids crash on the island and they just become very tribal in nature. And I think that when you leave this to that situation, as it has been, bad actors appear. I name him all the time. Awesome Motive and Syed Balki, I just feel are doing everybody a disservice with the way that they operate, because we're in a world of human beings needing to help humans. And when you trick people or you lock people in or you spray paint all over the front of their garage or their house when they buy one product that they should do or buy another product. I think that's just wrong. On the other hand, the SaaS companies are providing this incredible amount of stuff almost at free, and it's causing an arms race. But let us not forget, because we've been taught so many times, what has happened, what will happen. I am holding over here on my desktop some paperwork that I am a member of a class action that allows me to collect damages because of why? Well, remember that little thing that Google created called Google Workspace about, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago? They promised it's free. Well, myself and many others set up all of their accounts. I have maybe a dozen companies, and now I'm screwed into paying $15 to $32 per site for each company because Google just decided to go back on their promises. And when you look at today's AI stuff, I had a great conversation actually with Daniel about this yesterday. You as a human being can only trust human beings. You cannot trust corporations. You cannot trust oligarchical corporations, and even ones that come bearing gifts like a Trojan horse, like Google. You cannot trust them when they say, oh, put all your stuff in Notebook LM, John. Hey, put all your stuff into Lovable. Put all your stuff into blankety blank. Look at this free toy we're giving you. Because if you put all your stuff in there, you're going to end up like Uncle Spence and 12,500 of my customers back in 2006 and 7 and 8, when Ning, led by, yes, Mark Andreessen, the Dr. Evil of billionaires, him and his attorneys decided, well, this is kind of weird. We spent $100 million on this platform for free, and Foreman and this other guy are making all these products they're selling for these people that they really love. Let's shut it all down. Now, there's one other thing, and then I'm going to get on to the actual stuff because my soapbox is rattling a little bit. I'm going to show you today, one of the billionaires is actually, I think he's wild in the head, but actually very benevolent. We have, by the way, like JD Pritzker is a benevolent billionaire, but like this is Jack Dorsey. So I'm going to share with you today this new product I'm experimenting with called Goose, which is a desktop alternative to Cursor or Claude Desktop that right now requires a custom extension that I would have to build to make it work for the MCP we have with WordPress, but it might be an interesting alternative. But what it really represents to me is it's a breakthrough in this battle, and this is where we're going to stage everything. The battle is, what exactly is it that those of us who are human beings are going to do in the next 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years? And I really feel that I don't know the right answers. I'm hoping there's a much more dramatic thing that happens with the world and society and humanity as a whole. But in a business sense, I think what we can do is akin to like the French resistance during the World War II era against the Nazis. It's that we as individuals can band together and do these things with the help of maybe some benevolent billionaires to make cool stuff and build relationships with human beings. Because what we are really doing at the heart of it is really just trying to, almost like an old-fashioned barter system, we're trying to find ways to make businesses that let people find things that we can do or have to solve their pain. And in a weird sort of stacked way, I'm building tools to help you solve pain of making tools to solve pain, maybe for yourself or for your clients who are solving pain for their clients. It's like that old, I forget, it was a shampoo commercial. I told 2 friends and they told 2 friends, and so on and so on and so on. My son is asking me, he's like, how cold is it up there? He's actually down in downstate Illinois. I'm going to give him the link to the show so he can tune in today. So let's jump into it, because my soapbox is intended to set the stage of, like, when I see what it is that we're building or why we're building it, there is definitively a reason behind it. And the same thing is true for pricing. So I want to actually set my stage here. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do like I always have to do here. I'm going to, oh, please, come on, StreamYard. I love StreamYard, but StreamYard's interface could put me around the bend sometimes, because there we go. Let me share the screen. You know how I have to do this crazy stuff, right? I'm going to share the entire screen today. I'm going to be bold. I know this is difficult, so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to clean up a little bit and try to scale stuff. And Lloyd, I know you have a tiny machine there that you said it's a small laptop. Let me know if this is torturing you. I think that's pretty reasonable. All right, I'm going to stick with that. Okay, let's start with something first of all, which is that I want to do two things. Let's go to MinuteLaunch. And in terms of like what we're actually doing in selling, when I first started this shindig, I had my phone. Remember, it was in July of last year. I'm like, oh, I'm in the hot tub and I'm actually able to do more on my phone with this little interface than I could ever do with the spending 2 to 4 hours a day of setting up all this stuff inside of WordPress. And one of the things that inspired me to was, well, I wonder what I can do with these AI guys to help out. Just to set the stage of where we were and where we are, what has occurred to me over these many months and all these iterations of building this is that at the end of the day, this is really a business platform, a CRM killer. It's not a killer because we have a CRM in it, but it's, when you look at the pricing, my $97 a month, $197 a month, $497 a month, and what's included, all of the WordPress software, all the AI software, the documentation. When you look at how and why to sell this, there is 1,000 things that you could do with this. But at the end of the day, the thing that you're really going to do with it is you're going to replace a couple key tools, including mostly things like a CRM. And the reason that actually becomes even more obvious is when you go into something like the mobile view. This doesn't look like a mobile view because the screen is huge, but if I was to use my little doodad tool here, for example, if we go into like a various number of mobile views, you see that somebody on their phone can particularly have access to everything to run their business. Good morning, Julie. I know you are traveling today and I owe you a couple things. There's my son, Jack. Hi, Jack. I owe you a couple things, Julie, with a call, but I wanted to let you know when you have time, check in. Good morning, Kurt, by the way. Okay, so one of the things I want you to understand is like, here's my phone. And if we're really being honest with ourselves about how WordPress can be useful, what if, because it's true, you never actually had to deal with the janky interface and everything else of WordPress? What if it was true that your AI assistant could just be spoken with and execute on everything else? So here's one concept to start out. What if and by the way, sorry, there's 5 phones here. I'm just showing you. What if in mobile view, I could just have any of my contacts or add any of my contacts? If I could just tell it exactly what it is I want as the outcome. If I could interact with it directly and it could get the data from the website, interact with me about that and use that, share it, display it, not just for myself, but also for all of my customers. What if I can use it to create anything with just a couple words? So if you keep in mind what I'm suggesting, I'm saying, what if under the hood, we still had WordPress, but what if under the hood, we never had to deal with anything else other than just interacting with the dude in a simple chat? And of course, there's going to be pages that you build out, but when we click the simple site setup, and I remind you guys that this is being done with 4 plugins, 4, not 122, 4. I have an interface that on the WordPress side of things kind of starts like this. I've got a CRM using Fluent CRM that is mobile friendly, enabled to understand and do every single possible outcome I need, from creating courses, managing the customers, communicating with clients, doing fun, let's make cool images and send it to somebody watermarked so that they share it with their friends and my business promotes. Affiliate marketing, everything you ever wanted to do in an outside platform like a HubSpot or a Salesforce, Infusionsoft, MailChimp, whatever, if you're going to do it, ActiveCampaign. If you could do it in here, and you could do it for self-hosted $97 a month, fully hosted with support, CDN, Cloudflare backups, everything else, $197 a month. And this is the coffee kicking in. This includes the AI keys. So what is interesting is I'm going to share something with you guys on the back end here. I have discovered that I use OpenRouter for the API keys that I include in here. I've discovered that stuff that my clients and I are doing, these are just random. Here is like Doug Sheehan. He's killing it. He's only used $3.94 of keys. Here's Julie Clark. She's killing it. She's only used $4.73 of credits this last billing. I have got myself in here somewhere, $5.40. Now, I want you to understand something. I use the APIs directly with Claude through Anthropic and with OpenAI. I have the desktop Claude with a max plan, $200 a month. I use Cursor, obviously, all the time, with usually Sonnet or Opus. That's using the API of Anthropic. My bill from Christmas time was like $1,200 because I was just going crazy with Cursor. But the thing that's interesting to me is before I put the dude into the site, like I'm showing you now, my bills were based upon using that connection. And there's clearly been a breakthrough where they're overcharging, and somebody like Jack Dorsey and even my own experiments realize it is far more economical to just use the API key through an aggregator like an OpenRouter. And I don't know if this because, by the way, they have some kind of wholesale pricing or what, but like I'm able to do for $5.75 what's costing me $1,200. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to show you more why. And anyway, I'm going to come to this in a second and show you Goose. But why is this relevant? Because included in this price for yourself or your clients is the API key connectivity and everything you want to do, not only with a dude, but with a dude that pops out and you can use them on your desktop, like I'm showing you here, so that, let's say, hypothetically, I change these windows around. Here's the future that I see happening. You've got your dude on the left side who's connected to your WordPress site, including the keys from Uncle Spence, right? And then everything else that you want to do, I got to get the grab handle on there. Hold on. Everything else that you want to do with this dude is costing you nothing. Costing you absolutely nothing. And that is really relevant also because, and I'm having a fit with the grab handle, sorry about that. It's relevant because the other part of this is when you create stuff with the dude in the site instead of with the desktop guys, it's all part of the site. Okay? I'm going to get to this in a second, but I want to pause and just see if my point was made. My point is, if the main problem that we're solving is to have an all-in-one container into which you and your clients can pour your contacts, your leads, your prospects, your knowledge, your training, your sales funnel stuff, all of your specialty tools and skills. And if that box can be privately shared on one site per user, like through the coach. So if I go here, for example, to MinuteLaunch and I go to the ML coach, each person gets their private interaction with your dude, or could be shared on the back end, like I'm showing you a second ago with your AI assistant and or all of the custom things it creates. Then what we end up with is essentially for $97 a month, which gives $20 a month to you, or $197 a month, which gives $40 a month to you, or $497 a month, which gives you $97 a month. You have a way to send every single person you know to use this as a platform, as a tool. I have meetings today with people in business that are talking to Salesforce or HubSpot, and they're being given $30,000, $40,000 a year quotes for systems that don't do a quarter of what this can do and aren't a way to aggregate every single thing that anybody needs to do and turn it into something else. And because this is so simple and powerful, it is absolutely a game changer as far as what it is that I've actually built here and what I think we are building together. At first, I thought it was going to be a tool to just help me with WordPress. Now I realize WordPress with a box that anybody can either self-host or I can give to them is a container for the French resistance against the Nazis metaphor, where you can have a site that does everything and anything under the sun, is fully compatible backwards with all of the things that your customers would have been or are using in WordPress, but yet allows you and them to move forward and do the craziest, most powerful things ever in a box with data that you own and control. And last but not least, because the keys can be plugged in through Open Router for any of 600 different possible models, Open Router, look at the models that are here. I can give you up to 615 different models. That means that some of those models like Olama or Kimmy or Moonshot or whatever, those are not the big boys and girls that are tracking everybody or training on them. That means that you can have a private box. I want to give one more reference to this metaphor with Goose and with Jack Dorsey. So Jack Dorsey is not my hero. He's just a really successful dude who keeps the F to himself, which, by the way, I love because he's wacky, he's wild, he's a genius. But you know what we don't hear from him? We don't hear from him getting into politics or telling everybody how to live their life or doing stuff that hurts people. So between Square and Squarespace, and the other things that he's building, pretty amazing. But one of the other things that he's done recently, besides this Goose, is he came up with this peer-to-peer communication tool. It's called BitChat. BitChat is decentralized peer-to-peer messaging that operates over Bluetooth. I have a strong suspicion that Jack Dorsey is in alignment with myself and other people who believe that giving these technologies to the people to use outside of the oligarchical system, and I do mean that not because I'm a lunatic, but because I seriously feel that guys like Mark Andreessen and his ilk want to do everything. Look at in Davos this week, they want everybody to be basically in a system that is controlled or operated by them. And if you look at even Larry Ellison, that guy is like totally transparent about what he's trying to do. He wants every single thing we do and say to be followed. BitChat is an alternative to that. But here's Goose. And again, I'm not trying to come off as some political guy. I'm coming off as like, wake up, because this is what's going on. And as I make these tools, I really realize that part of what's going on is that like this is a battle between people that want the world to be a certain way and people want it to be another way. So Goose is a desktop agent that installs and acts, and I'll show it to you here, exactly like Claude Desktop does. And I was running a test on it. I was pretty impressed. But as I said, it still has a couple loose ends. Let me actually do this. Hold on. I got to see where my folder is there. Okay. So it just runs on the desktop and you install whatever it is that you want as your LLM. So it looks and acts and feels just like Claude Desktop. And if I started a new chat session, it does all the stuff you want it to do. And by the way, for coding, pretty good. Hey, good morning. I'm on a live show. I want you to say hello to everybody here. I know you don't know who I am, but this is Spence. Say hello to my audience at MinuteLaunch.com. Okay. So it acts and feels as you'd expect, just kind of like any other LLM. I've got it connected to Anthropic's Claude Sonnet. And the text is a little small, but you'll see here. He just rocks and rolls. There you go. So he loaded his extensions and so on and so forth. So if I asked him to code or do stuff, he has the same connectivity. The only thing he doesn't have right now is I haven't made a custom extension, which they have this special library of ways to do things. I will probably do it though. So this is going to be an alternative for those of you who, for example, prefer to work on the desktop, but do not want to use at the expense Claude Desktop, which is going to end up costing you probably 60 to maybe 200 a month. Claude Desktop pricing. I know even though it's free, the minimum is probably $60 minimum is realistic. Okay. So if you use Claude Pro individual, $17 a month, but most of you are going to end up in the max plan. So let's be honest. It's not, I've never seen anybody stay at $17. It's going to end up being at $100 a month. If you go to their AI, these numbers mean nothing, but even buying like direct access to the API, I meant API, this is more expensive than if we buy it from Open Router. So I'm giving you the API stuff, but if you wanted the desktop, you're probably going to spend at least $100. Cursor, similarly, is an incredible tool. I can't tell you how much in love I am with Cursor, but Cursor is expensive. If you really are honest with yourself, you're going to be in the ultra plan before you blink your eye, which, by the way, includes the tokens. This Goose is a way to get around that, because here's why. If you used Goose, you could go to Open Router if you didn't use, the direct connection I give you, obviously. And if I look at the pricing, it's really hard to tell what it is, but you buy a block of stuff, right? You pay as you go. And I think the credits are, I got $40 of credit and I have hundreds and hundreds of clients. I spent over the total year, I spent $250 and I'm running this whole enterprise on it. So the credits at Open Router are insanely more valuable in terms of what they deliver to you. Okay. I don't want to bypass. I'm just trying to set the stage, and let me take a pause for a second because you guys are listening nicely. As I interacted with many of you in personal conversations, as I had live calls, as I had actually live interactions with real customers. Yesterday I had a fantastic call with a very smart gentleman who had a great business and his technology manager. And I am testing out what happens when I really use this product. And let me share with you what happens. I have a call, as I do with many of you, and I say something like this. Tell me about your business. Tell me what you like to do. What's your pain point? What are you using? How do you use it? Now, this matrix of stuff kind of amounts to, there's probably 10 features at most that people need, 4 or 5, everybody. I need to add context to my CRM if I even have one, or my mailing list if I don't know what I'm doing. I need to correspond with them. I need to give them membership access. I have a community. I have emails. I have sales pages. I have lessons and courses. If you went on the list of 10 items, there's 10 key features. Then there's 10 benefits. The benefits are to sell more, to inform more, to teach, to make bookings. 10 features times 10 benefits. Then what I did, and I mentioned this in past office hours, I had the help of my AI. Give me 200 of the companies that have these features or have these types of benefits to solve the pain points that these customers have. And I said, make the content that we need in order to make it super duper 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 simple for somebody to understand in 30 seconds or less why it is that MinuteLaunch does that better than the competitor's named product. And I'm explaining this for a reason. If I go over here to these pages, you saw it because I did a whole webinar, I think last Friday on this. He's making all of this content. And I put a couple of them up here so we can share. Like I switched to HubSpot, and here's what happened to my bill. I think, let's look at this one. This is an older version, so I can tell already. Let's go to here. I built a 500-member circle community. 47 people actually showed up. Here's why I left. Let's look at this, and you'll see what I mean. This is an article that mentions community times integration, right? X times Y. It tells a story based upon factual data. In 30 seconds, I have something that demonstrates a clear value proposition that motivates somebody to want to use the tool. It's either a savings of time, or it's a savings of money, or it's a savings of frustration, or it's a savings of something else that is a tangible way for somebody to immediately understand. I'll paste this into the chat. To immediately understand why it is that MinuteLaunch provides a better solution. Now, one of the things that you'll also see in a second when I show you is that MinuteLaunch's affiliate situation makes it very easy for you or somebody else to just say to your client, instead of you signing up for MailChimp or HubSpot or Infusionsoft or any of the other 62 CRMs that I support daily through WP Fusion and so forth, you can sign up instead for $97 a month or $197 a month, unlimited numbers of clients and customers, unlimited number of products, unlimited sales pages, unlimited, only limited by the cost of whatever you attach to send the mail out. So for example, we've been sending, I've been sending people to Brevo, right? So for example, with Brevo, the pricing's insanely ridiculous. I can go to 100,000 emails for $62 a month. That's a crazy value. So other than the extra $62 a month, the only cost to them is $197 a month. And that includes concierge support, security backups, the whole thing. So when I use this methodology, nearly everybody immediately goes, oh, I get it. You just saved me $18,000. Oh, I just get it. You immediately gave me the features that I need, that I own and control, and nobody can take it away. Oh, I get it. This thing has an interface that all I have to do is turn it on and talk to the dude, and I'm done. I don't have to learn another complicated setup or train my whole team on how to do the same. So the point of all of this little doodad is to say, where I was thinking of fixing WordPress, where it became obvious is that WordPress is besides the point. WordPress just provides the box that we've used to build on this instead of using Replit or Lovable or some Node.js crazy thing, because that's all rando. WordPress gives us a stability and a metaphor. And where we're at is that I've discovered quite clearly that using this in terms of a in-your-pocket, mobile-friendly CRM substitute, e-commerce substitute, all-in-one substitute for building things quickly that solve problems in your life. Like, I have an RV and I need to take pictures of stuff to figure out what it is that I need repaired, but I also want to send out pictures to my kids. Or, by the way, I have to go to the vet today and take information about the dog's hips dysplasia surgery. All of these things can be done using a tool. And if you already have a current site that has vintage content, like most of my clients, they have hundreds or thousands of lessons or courses or pages. All of that content, like LearnDash, can be turned into single page course solutions instantly and awesomely, and delivered in a system that's now managed by your dude by just telling it. And the coach, the last part of it, the coach makes it easy for the customers to interact with their stuff. Like, for example, if I send you or somebody else to the MinuteLaunch Coach and you say, hi, I'm kind of new to WordPress and AI and all kinds of stuff. Can you tell me how to get started with the best information here on MinuteLaunch of what I should read first? Give me links I can click. Okay, somebody can use this coach to directly and immediately ask any weird question they want, or they can use pre-made skills that either I've built or they can build on, you know what, I'm only interested in doing these kinds of things. And then they can make stuff using my skills and techniques that allow them to save these as blocks. Okay. So here's the answer he immediately gave me as a coach. Start here. Best resources for beginners. See what MinuteLaunch can do, why it's different. Learn to work with AI. Here's the next thing. Here's the common first problems. And all of these things open up in a separate tab for them to consume or to save or to share. But what's really super cool is if I give it one of these things, I can also tell it to build for me. I mean, this is crazy, but it's awesome because I've got a tool built into WordPress that custom trains it on any of the data that I'm offering in my site. So I'm going to say, hey, can you give me an example of using one of the things MinuteLaunch teaches on how to build a beautiful HTML5 hero section for my website, and give it back to me in HTML5 and do it like the background is black and the headline is white with bold letters and the buttons are orange with white letters, and give me something like, are you having problems with WordPress? Use MinuteLaunch. It's awesome. Click here to find out why. Okay, so if I talk in any way, shape, or form, the coach can understand me as a student or as a person who's needing information from this site and deliver it exactly in the way that the site owner wants. Watch this. If I go on the back end and I look at how the MinuteLaunch Coach operates, I've got settings in here that let you determine for your students exactly how you want it to act. First of all, it's using automatically the API keys that I've given you, no cost. I can give it a default personality system prompt, just like you would with any desktop tool, and custom instructions. And I can give it a default behavior, right? It's kind of like coachy, experty, conversationally concise. This allows me to tweak globally. Then I can say to it, what do I want it to use for the information? If Ann is here, and this one's all over everything you asked for, this is any of the custom post types in my site I can use to give to the coach to form its answers. This means I can selectively create content from the social network, from my courses, my lessons, my posts, my products, my pages. I can allow it to give more or less of the previous conversations as context to kind of keep it going. I can allow it or not allow it to use the internet also, which I've allowed, but then I could say, when should the internet be used in relationship to the stuff in the site? Like, I would primarily rather that it only uses the internet if somebody specifically asks for stuff versus like all the time. And then I can also, this one's wild for the Fluent community folks. What if I allowed it to use cross-user context? If a bunch of students like Ann and John and Lloyd and Kurt are all asking questions, wouldn't it be cool if the coach can dip into those previous answers for other people and use it? And by the way, let me just show you the other display settings. I can display it on any page. I can customize entirely its name, its personality, the subtitle. I call mine Fernando Coach. The color style. Here's a big one, two big ones. I can either allow it to be fully private for logged in members, which is my preference, or I could, if I wanted, if I limited what it did, open it up to the public, just as a substitute for faceted search for blog posts or something. I can also selectively hide the MinuteLaunch AI footer. That's your affiliate tool, by the way. When you see this powered by MinuteLaunch, that can be geared into your affiliate referral link, of course, so that your students become basically an extra revenue source for you because they'll get their own version of this. The skills I want to just cover allow me to dial in. I give you a bunch of defaults, but these are skills that you can give it, like, here's how to build an awesome landing page, a sales page, here's how to do whatever. I can have unlimited skills that with one keyword triggers the dude to do anything. And then finally, it's got of course, an API that's available for your desktop tools and otherwise, and you can use a short code to put this in any design. Now, back to what he gave us. So let's look at this interface for a second, because the coach on the front end is, to me, the most relevant of all of this stuff. If I look at what he gave me, notice he gave me in line what I figured out is an awesome way to do stuff. He's giving me to give to you, I guess, the code. But if I want to preview this, what he made for me, I can just drag it down. Now, just think for a second how cool this is. You come to my site and you need to learn how to make beautiful stuff. My friend Kevin Geary runs this Etch site, and he's working on teaching people CSS and all the rest of the stuff. God bless him. He's got a great audience, great idea. I'm teaching how to use the dudes to do the same thing instantly. I just gave you the ability to come to MinuteLaunch Coach, let's be honest, and he will instantly create, based upon all the skills and tools I've given him and the things that you guys have shared with him, the ability to make something freaking awesome. You can now Do anything you want with this. For example, if you want to save this as a block for you to use in the future, save it as a block, my favorite hero, so that you as a student, as a member, come back and refresh the page later. And guess what? Even in a new chat, you come back and your block will be right here for you to copy, use, view. That means that I have created, and I just cannot emphasize, I have created in this tool itself a way for you to take whatever you are awesome at as a human being. By the way, the coffee is awesome. I can tell. I'm so wired up. Remember that like 2 Fridays ago when I was like, hey man, let's talk. Okay, let me tone it down. I have created with just this alone something your customers, clients, friends, prospects, yourself can carry in your pocket. And individually, as a way, even if you have all your clients in one thing, individually have their own library of stuff that lets them use your specialty, your knowledge through a membership payment to you. Hello. You will not get to this unless you are paying me membership per se. They will not get to this unless you're paying you. Now they can create, save, share, reuse a library of custom stuff, knowledge, information, skills, chats, whatever, that will keep them paying you in perpetuity. Are you with me? Can somebody tell me if I am still on? Somebody type something in the chat. This is where if StreamYard's interface was better, this is the part where I would use the media thing and do the drum roll thing or the rim shot, but I can't because their interface is horrific. Are you guys there? Okay, boom. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate you for that. So if you follow me, let's continue. I've got this awesome thing. What the hell can I do with this? Well, you know I'm on MinuteLaunch.com. Remember when I talked about way back when, the whole purpose, in fact, by the way, Kurt was with me on the roundtable show. It was Christmas of 2024. Do you remember, Kurt, when I said I was going to spend, I mean, if you don't, that's fine. I was going to spend all of 2025 coming up with my own solution to Mullenweg's problems, because I said to myself, I'm sick of sitting around waiting with all this drama about what they're going to do to WordPress. And I said, I'm just going to build it myself. And I'm a Scorpio. So when I say I'm going to do something publicly, I do it. And this is the outcome where I am super, super duper happy. Thanks, Lloyd. I'm super duper duper happy that this is right. But this is, to me, the solution to WordPress, because who the hell is going to go back to standard WordPress when you can make these things happen as quickly as I'm showing you, including, watch this. This is HTML and CSS native, no page builder necessary. Thank you, my friend. And by the way, Kurt is one of my closest online professional friends. Kurt and I see eye to eye on, like, let's say 60% of the world. We don't see eye to eye on 30% of the world. And there's 10% of the world we haven't figured out yet. But you know what I love about Kurt is that Kurt and I are Gen Xers, and we act like Gen Xers always do. It's like just this whole drama that's been created in the world by the oligarchs. We just look at each other like, hey man, high five. We're just pals. Because like in the old days, that's the way we did it. Like everybody was different and everybody called everybody names and nobody got hung up on it. We just were Americans having a good time. So I love Kurt, even though we're different about some things, but Kurt was there and he's been on the shows with me. And so I'm just really excited both for what's happening as well as for this, because the biggest thing was the page builders got us where we were to where we wanted to be, but they became a liability. Like Elementor, my God, that thing's like having a Sherman tank parked in your garage. We don't need a page builder. We've got the dude. And again, Kevin Geary is doing an incredible job teaching people CSS and giving a tool. But personally, I prefer not to do this anymore. I essentially spent most of my wayward 40s and early 50s making stuff with CSS. I don't want to make stuff anymore. I want to have a robot that just like gets shit done. There's Ann. Hi, Ann. Exactly. Right. Well, see, this is the thing. Like I'm going to detour and I'm going to show you how this is universal. I want to take a back to a second step to the Jack Dorsey, the Gen X thing, because almost all of you guys are Gen X and boomers. I just don't, with the exception of my son there, maybe who's watching today. I don't service millennials. Mark Szymanski is the rare exception. And I had an incredibly awesome episode on his show. He had me on and his editor just made me look like I was like crazy on crack. I loved it. With the exception of Mark, most of the people I serve had lived in the world before this crazy shit they're imposing on us. And I really believe we're going to get back to it, but in a new way, which is to say, we do not need to be arguing and fighting with ourselves. We're all the same. We're people. We're humans. Jack Dorsey's thing, my thing, this is my remedy for Matt Mullenweg's mental problems. This is my remedy for Mark Andreessen's mental problems. This is my remedy for Larry Ellison and Zuckerberg. This is my remedy because this is owned and controlled by you. Even Spence can't stop it. My remedy is for all of us to start getting back to helping and supporting and loving and sharing and doing things for humanity. And the technology and the AI has got to be a big part of it because we cannot ignore it. And so when I was a kid growing up, I had 17 different types of kids of every race, religion, color. And all we would do is like, hey, what do you want to play? Do we want to throw rocks at each other? G.I. Joes, baseball, hockey? Because our parents were absent. We didn't have cell phones. And we just learned to call each other names and get over ourselves. And then, yeah, isn't that teacher hot? Like when we were 13 years old. So I'm just saying the sooner we start talking in these terms, the sooner we get past our problems and on to doing cool stuff. And this is my part. Okay, back to our regular scheduled program. Here is, I created something, and let's use Anne as an example. Anne has got a very smart set of customers who are non-technical. That person could take this block, or I could save this block, and then they just copy it. Now watch what I do. I'm going to go over to another site. This is Easy Site. This doesn't even have to be, by the way, an actual site. I can use just regular WordPress. So in other words, there's nothing that was built that was dependent on WordPress. If I just went to a regular page, and even without using the MinuteLaunch Canvas block, if I just said HTML and I pasted that in and I said, nothing to see here. Okay. The only downside of doing it this way is I need to disable the page stuff with the controls of cadence, which is sort of a stupid waste of time, but let me just show you that it's possible. Okay. And actually I could just do it in preview mode. If I do this, this makes it awesome, but it's just using the standard WordPress. There's nothing else here. Nothing else here. I literally in MinuteLaunch created something awesome, saved it, pasted it, and I'm done. Now, do you need to do that? No, because it's way easier. You can just have your client use the Canvas block, or you can have your client, for example, let's reset all this, have your client use the Simple Site Builder, which makes this even easier. So watch, if I took the same stuff and I got rid of this nonsense HTML block, and instead I use the Canvas block, which again, you don't have to use either. First of all, it's easier because you can see it and you can edit it. Are we having problems? But the second thing is when you're in MinuteLaunch Canvas block, you can just go ahead into the block layout here and just do that stuff that required me to go to the theme by itself. And when I do that and I preview it, I get the same result, which is like crazy awesome. Okay. So the takeaway of this is I have got too many windows open. I have got a tool that I can give access to on my site that allows normal mere mortals to create anything they want anywhere, everything from images to documents to whatever. I'm going to show you more, but look at this other feature here. What if I really want to work here on this? Just click expand. And now I've got a full screen IDE code editor. I've also got full screen preview. I've got the ability to still save it and do whatever. I mean, the utility is crazy, but wait, there's more. Because let's say I'm like, well, you know what I need? It would be really awesome if I could take a picture and let's say let's make a duck riding on a turtle's back on a tennis court playing pickleball. Make it photorealistic on a sunny day in Miami. What if I could actually, as the user of the site, take the content with the image editor and actually make things like realistic things? Make a diagram about this. Make a picture about this. I am trying to learn your yoga poses. Make an image that shows what you're talking about here. The tool can be made available for imagery to the actual users individually, that they can create and save their own content. This is also revolutionary for John. Are you there? Hello? Ground control. It's a Major John. This means that you could create for your photographic or your other people a way that they can actually use the tool on your site to create, save, and share media objects, PDF files, images. I'm not making videos, sorry. Diagrams, whatever. And then they can use that kind of stuff. If I took this image address and I said, I love what you just did with that hero HTML5. Could you also put this featured image of a duck on a turtle's back from this URL and put it into the layout, but now make it a 2-column layout so that the image is like maybe cropped and featured on the right? Okay, that was a long prompt. You don't need to know how to do that prompt. All I'm simply saying is, if we had a skill of how to build a 2-column hero, and you just said, what do you want in the headline? What do you want as the duck image? It will make the stuff, and you can do this as a visitor to my site, and then save it, share it, use it, pop it out, keep using it. Here's another takeaway. I'm so excited today. You can't believe it. Because you can pop this out and use it on your desk, use your head for a second. What is Spence going to say? He's saying, guess what? Instead of using Claude, instead of using Cursor, instead of using Goose even, you can use the MinuteLaunch solution inside of John's site, or Ann's site, or whatever site. John, you're hilarious. John has asked me, what, no videos? This is like the kid in Bad Santa. There he is, Major John. Okay. What I mean by videos is you should recognize, I have deprecated. You notice there's no tool that's included here for MinuteLaunch videos anymore. Did you not notice that? Why? Because I've been working with this for 6 months, and I realized, you know how many videos I've made? 0. You know, many videos everybody else has made? 0. You know why they've made no videos? Because it's still a pain in the ass. It's too far ahead, even with other tools. And then the second reason is because most of us have had experience with that Sora. I know, I'm giving you a hard time, John. Sora and the other tools on your iPhone. If you want to make a 5-minute video, make it with Sora and then just save it to your media library. There's no purpose in me offering video capabilities because nobody's using it in practice. That's basically what happened. And since it required a very expensive amount of tokens, easier to get rid of it. So back to the show. I've now asked it to make this combo. Let's see what it did for me. Let's go in expanded mode, preview it. Son of a bitch. Can I just please, I want all of you to participate right now. Can you please pipe in and give me some kind of expletive about what you just saw happen? Son of a bitch. Did you see what I just did there? I literally just got on a coach that anybody could do, asked it to make awesome content, create an image, and make it. Now, this is why, and by the way, I can copy this, save this, put it on another site. This is why, like I say, I love my friends that do other things like what Kevin's doing, teaching people. This is why Spence is never, ever, never, ever, never again going to make anything himself. Can somebody please pipe in there? Kurt, you've got some expletive. Because does anybody else find this remarkable? Or is it just me? I'm going to wait till somebody types. I'm going to sit here and drink coffee until I see the first expletive. I've got all day, people. Come on, you guys suck. What the hell? What is the reason that there we go. Remarkable. Okay. You know what? I'm like this close to calling it a day because like if I can't, there we go. Thank you. Okay. There we go. Now you're going. Maybe it was just a YouTube delay. This is the audience that I remember. Okay. Thank you. You've restored my faith in your humanity. Okay. Let's do one more time. If I copied this and I go over to my little like easy to use tool here on another website and I preview it, like that's as easy as it is for your customers or you to build stuff using the stuff that I'm providing. Like this would have taken me. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate all of you, by the way. This is the kind of thing that would have taken me forever. Now, even if I want to get ridiculous about it, this, you know what's going to happen. Sky's the limit. I can turn this into a landing page for Fluent CRM even. I can literally have this make a CRM compatible, Fluent CRM compatible dynamic form that onboards my users. I can have it create a PDF. I can have it create a series of courses, lessons. Everything that I want it to do, I can have it do. But the best part is I can save this gorgeous block and repurpose it. All right. I want to show a couple other things that are really super critical. Besides the fact that we've got the coach and the AI assistant on the Fluent CRM side using the mobile view. So let me go back here for a second. I'm going to go back in a simple site focus mode for a second. On this side of things, if I'm using the simple site assistant in mobile view especially, I've already done this before, but like, again, pretend that we're on our phone. This actually works well on desktop too, but I mean, I don't want to use the tool to show it. You can see that it's mobile friendly. This is how I can operate from my desk or otherwise. If I'm looking for Bernie Smith, I can from my desktop now have something that is more functional and capable than every single tool that I've ever used. And I can use it to either, like I just showed you, create new content, or even I could just say, make some shit and send it to somebody. So watch this. This is maybe not going to work because I just added this feature this morning, but I'm going to go to this site builder to do this. Here, watch this prompt. It's a brand new prompt. Please add Anne Stevenson to my CRM. Anne, A-N-N-E, Stevenson, S-T-E-P-H-E-N-S-O-N. I want to send her an email real quick that says, Anne, I appreciate you so much for the journey you've taken with me since May of 2023. You're one of my best friends online and one of my best customers. I love you. Thank you very much, Spence. And sign it from Spence's AI assistant, Fernando. Create the email and send it to Anne and add a tag on her that says appreciative. Okay. I just told the dude everything I need to do to use the CRM on my desktop or my phone to correspond with people, add them to the CRM, do whatever I want to do. And what happens is when I do that, I'm just to save time because I can see I'm at the end of there. Let me show you what happens is in the CRM, I've got from my previous experience, anybody that I have done that to gets added to the CRM. Like yesterday, here's this fellow, Rye, who I was dealing with. They get added to the CRM with all their contact info, and the email that was sent to them is there for me to see again, right? In this case, I just sent them a blah, blah, blah email. So the idea is, by Kurt, I'm going to. The idea is, what if this device with the mobile-friendly interface allows us to never again have to think, oh, I've got all these people that are coming to the webinar. Maybe I go, hey, use everybody on my paid customer list, send them out a notice of Friday's webinar. Make it like the template we always do. Or, hey, I've got a new thing I'm selling today for nutritionists. Here's what I want it to do. Create the document, put it on a sales page, and send it out to everybody who's got the tag of nutritionist. What if I took a picture and, again, using the image editor, which, by the way, there's a new feature in here. Last thing I'll show you today. In the image editor, I added these new awesome prompt builder stuff. So watch what happens here. We also have library controls. Look at the top here. I can now adjust the layout of the library. But if I were to take, for example, a picture, here's John Lennon. I want to have a better layout maybe between the two things. I can adjust the thumbnail sizes or the ratio of the editor, but watch what happens when I go here. I've got the prompt builder that I can turn into whatever I want as far as helper. So I could say, take the reference image and show him playing guitar in the 1960s, making a movie poster that said Beatles Forever and black and white. Okay, I'm going to make a movie poster for social. So social, cinematic, full body, moody lighting, dramatic, cool. And it creates a custom prompt. But when I generate this, this actually makes inside of the media library the result that I want it to have, which is really, really an improvement from what we had before, because now I can take up to 15 images as reference images. And with the prompt builder, I can build stuff that has all those attributes that I wanted, but I just didn't know the words to say on how to get it to happen. And so this is actually awesome. If I open this in a new tab, this is what I've got created. I mean, that was remarkable what it did. It obviously knew about John Lennon itself because it gave him a Rickenbacker. But this is the kind of stuff that's now available in your media library for you to save and share and to use for production. Because as you know, of course, we've got the image ready available that if I go back out to the front or I go to the coach, I'll do this one last thing. Let's do this with the simple site builder guy. I'm just going to say, hey, research the Beatles and John Lennon in particular, and make a 3-paragraph custom page that's formatted with a 1960s style in HTML5 for me to post on my site. And in this case, actually post it into the top of my MinuteLaunch simple site. Okay, so notice at the bottom here, if you can see, there's an output, canvas or new block. If I do new block, it's going to make it for me and add it to my site, which is, in this case, if I want, built with Simple Site. Simple Site itself has all these crazy features and tools, so you never actually have to use a theme or canvas block. You can even have, like I mentioned before, the powered by link to your affiliate at the bottom, but kind of also awesome. All the things you ever built are available in preview mode, which means that if you ever get lost or you ever forget to save something, everything is available here, right? Like I can literally see everything that I ever created and immediately get back to it. I clicked too fast and I went back. Hold on. I clicked too fast and I closed the window. Let's see if I go back to what I just made, because he should have it saved there. Notice I might have been, hold on, I might have been, oh, I was here. That's right. I'm on the different, I got confused. So I was using 2 sites and I was on Easy Site when I did this. Here's what the dude made. We can use the same tool that I just showed you, expand, preview. I could have told him, I should have told him to actually use the image, but he made a nice animated page. Still pretty cool with all the research. If I save that, I could use it in the future. But the point is, notice where he put it. He should have put it here, and he did. So let's do Beatles Forever, which meant that I actually, and Anne, if you're listening, for your clients, they never have to use anything other than just the site builder. This now is at the top of my site. If I hide all of the other pages, just for demonstrative purposes, and I save this, my entire site now is just that content, which means that, what did I not do? I didn't set up a theme. I didn't set up plugins. I didn't set up any page builder stuff. I didn't have to go even use the MinuteLaunch canvas block. I can have the dude build stuff for me, and here's my whole site. Notice the other content is still there. I just removed it from the navigation. And I also have buttons that are custom. All right, I'm going to end it on this because where is this going? Because I'm 6 minutes over. I've got clients now who come to me from scratch with the one problem. I have got something that you can use the same way. I asked them a couple questions about what's bothering them. What do they do? What do they want to do? What do they spend money on? And the common thread is, I need something that I can use for membership, emails, onboarding prospects, touching my clients on a regular basis appropriately to keep the relationship alive. I would love to be able to have something that I can carry with me mobile, talk to, listen to, create cool, fun stuff. That's like 6, 7 things. Every single person that you know has a need for this. That's it. I am going to be continuing to bundle this down with the marketing pages that are white labeled if you want, or you can use it as an affiliate and just, hey, it's the MinuteLaunch platform. Just like, hey, it's Google. And when you send people there, you can make $240 a year, $480 a year, $1,200 a year just for sending them to use the platform. Or you can use it yourself and using the coach have a new reason that people will pay you a fortune, because they can use your coach with your skills, your knowledge, your specialty, like John photography, and nutrition, Lloyd security related things, etc. And in doing so, that becomes endlessly sticky. Because even on your site, they come in there, they're going to make and do and create stuff that they will not want to lose. You can give it to them if you want to be benevolent. You can export it for them. But I'm saying they can either get their own thing and you win. They can use your thing and you win. I win because now, one last thing, like today I was doing updates. I have built a platform that's beyond my comprehension I was able to do. But that what happens is if I want to manage or use this whole thing, there's 4 plugins, 4 under the hood. Okay, I'll just show you one last time for emphasis, and then I'm going to let you guys go. If I look at the plugins that are running everything, including e-commerce, including the CRM, it's shocking. Watch what happens. When I turn off the MinuteLaunch plugin manager, my entire operation is now boiled down to these plugins. WooCommerce, it could be Fluent Cart. The MinuteLaunch Canvas block, by the way, that's mine. That's just part of what you get. Fluent SMTP to talk to the outside world, and Fluent CRM, the free version, because the things I built into Simple Site and so forth give all of the premium features that you need as part of my offering that use their API. Do you guys, I need one more acknowledgement of this. Like, do you understand? To me, this is crazy. 1 year ago, a year ago and change, whatever, in Christmas of 2024, I was frustrated with what's going on with WordPress. And I said, I'm going to do something better. This here eliminates 100% of all the problems that I've ever had. And in doing so, when you turn on the plugin manager and you go back into this ecosystem, which by the way, I had shown some of you, I've got a new dashboard option here that I'll give you in a second, but just using the Simple Site focus mode, that this right here means that I can have normal people with no knowledge of WordPress come in. And when I want to offer an update, they just simply either click or just show up to this page and it automatically updates everything. No more spray painting of the bridge. No more bad behavior from Syed Balki and his company. No more crazy, oh, a plugin update happened and broke the shit out of everything. But yet, if they do have old content or old things, they can still use it. This has made it possible for me to do this in a white label way for any of you. This has made it possible for me to give you and your customers this leverage of Open Router, because the keys automatically are used by any components that I build. And then even the startup guide, this guide is just an outline. This guide is going to be like 10 things. That's it. Here's the 10 things you need to know or do in order to get everything about your business. And if you can't figure that out, then just go to the mobile app and ask it a question, because you'll be able to ask it a question about anything you want to do. Last thing, and I appreciate you for sticking with me. If I can pull this up, hold on, UBR Coach. This is a website where I demonstrated, and I'm going to offer this as a feature, by the way, the let me see if I can log into here. Hold on. I hope I can. The client has installed something that's kicked me out of the back end of this. Hold on. I desperately want to show you this thing. Hold on. Let me do something I want to show you. I'm going to log in off this screen and then show you. I want to show you something about how the dashboard will evolve further, because what's really true also is that you are probably going to have team members that are working with you or for you or something. And you want to give them or the clients that you built stuff for full access. And in order to do that, it's necessary, let's say, to have control over the WordPress dashboard even further beyond the simple site thing. And that's what I built here. Sorry, I had to log in separately. This dashboard is a custom dashboard. If you, for example, wanted to offer custom things for your clients and you wanted to do it in a way that allowed you or the client to specifically see on the back end only what you wanted them to see. So it essentially mimics what we do in WordPress, but it's a special feature that you can turn on as the site implementer so that your client can just focus on what they want to do. Like we built the special attendance feature that allows them to take attendance of any students on any particular day to the single page courses. But here's the neat trick. Just like when I did with LaunchKit, if you add this little doodad escape clause, you as the implementer can always get back to the regular side of things, right? In other words, you can always get back to the regular WordPress dashboard. Put it here. And that makes it possible for you to continue carrying on with the regular site and do the things that you want to do. Like, I don't know, let's say plugins PHP. Let's see if it's functioning here. I'm still testing this plugin, but you see, like the point I'm getting at is it'd be super cool if I want to add this feature that all I need to do for you guys is, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add this feature in. And then when you go to your MinuteLaunch plugin manager, you just can turn that on. I want to use that. Turn it on. It's there. It works perfectly. There's lots more ideas of this nature coming, but the idea is I see the future as me having this platform, one plugin you can download for free. You can do it now. If you go to MinuteLaunch.com/ML, you install it, you pay for some kind of level of access, or your clients do, and then turn on with these toggle switches, whatever it is that they want to use. And the rest is awesome. Okay. Thank you guys for indulging me today. Thank you for indulging me for all these months. I appreciate you. I love you all. I have many, many new friends around the world now, including all of you. For my third chapter of life, I joke about it, but it's becoming a reality. My third chapter is my physical health is perfectly fixed. My business is perfectly aligned with helping other human beings and making a living from wherever I am at the time on a laptop. And my relationships involve no drama. It's about me helping people or meeting new people. And I really feel like that existence is out there. I just have to align myself vibrationally, mentally, and otherwise with it. And I think a lot of you guys align with that as well. So I hope in a small way, this is my sharing with you how I'm going to get there. And I hope you continue to go with me on this journey. And all of your great ideas have helped me get this to be where it's at. And I think we're just at the beginning stages of it. So have an amazing weekend. Stay warm. Let me know what you think. I'll have more updates over the weekend, and let's keep going. It's going to be a great 2026. See you next time.